And we are live. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another adult fantasy live stream. Sometimes it's a draw stream, sometimes it's an AMA, sometimes it's just us looking tired.
What do you mean? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I gotta admit, launching an NFT project, piece of cake, easiest
Not
thing.
not for the faint of heart.
It's been fantastic. We've been pulling late nights for about 3 months now, so it's been great. It's been absolutely fantastic. We are so excited to get this thing into your hands. As you may or may not know, for whitelisters, whitelisting opens up tomorrow. So if you haven't gotten your wallets in, you haven't verified, go to the Discord, verify your wallet. You are going to want to mint, and you are going to want to mint early. Let's see who is here, and I'll tell you why you want to mint early in just a minute.
Good point.
Coffee says, "Hey all, hey Coffee, how you doing?" Charlene, hi Charlene. She's yawn.
Hey.
I never really woke up today. Enough about me. How's everyone else doing? I live in a world of perpetual sleep. Carrots is here.
Awesome.
It's time for live stream. What's up? Welcome.
Hey.
Jay Silver, hey, super excited. Hey, Jay Silver, welcome. Good to see you, as always. Gaxamillion, hey, welcome. Good morning, all. Coffee in hand, ready. I literally just dumped my coffee out for water, only because I've had enough coffee.
Here's my big container of coffee.
Griffith guy intrigued us to what this project is. Awesome, welcome.
Yay!
Excellent, new.
Awesome.
So that's fantastic. So we'll tell you all about that in just a minute. We'll cover some things. Really quick though, because I know a lot of people on the stream right now are whitelisted. If you're not whitelisted, no problem. You can still jump into Discord and get whitelisted. It's pretty easy. In fact, Paco is the guy you want to talk to about that. Let me tell you this. So the whitelisting tomorrow opens up. We are going to open it up. We'll announce the time very shortly. We have it. We're just, kind of doing some last minute checks and making sure that gas prices are okay and everything's good. But we'll give you guys a time. When it opens, now what we've decided to do internally is give you guys is plenty of time, runway, to hit the mint, right? And we wanted to give you enough time to kind of give you the option to play around with gas prices, right? We wanted to give enough time so you don't have to stress. You don't have to say, "Oh my God, there's a 10-minute window and I gotta." None of that stuff. We're not smashing people into a mint zone to that's gonna bump gas prices, right? No one wants a gas war. So the doors open tomorrow, and you have up until the public launch. The public launch is this next weekend. So December 11th is the public launch. So we will end the whitelist phase on the night before, December 10th. Again, we will provide all of the times for you. But we do things differently here, as you might expect. And our NFT works in a different way. It actually has a behavior. There are mechanics associated with it that other NFTs don't have. So while you have the option and you have plenty of time to mint up through basically next Friday, the NFT game, more or less, I have learned to call our NFT a game because the actual NFT itself is a game. The NFT will begin its de-aging process as soon as you mint. So as soon as that NFT hits your wallet, it starts going, right? Now, it doesn't mean it's going to change right away. It may change in an hour. It may change in a day. It may change in a week. We don't know. But that starts rolling. So the sooner you mint, the more heads up you have on everybody else. So that's a benefit to everybody who has a whitelist. Okay. So if you want to mint tomorrow, fantastic. If you want to wait until Friday, totally understandable. Again, gas prices are real. Honestly, gas prices mean a lot. So don't feel so pressured if gas prices are high. It's okay to wait. Okay, that's what I would do. So use your best judgment, but also understand that the second you mint, that's when the clock starts on the de-aging mechanism. So you guys will have an entire week or at least several days jump ahead of everybody who mints on the public launch day. So I think that's a really fun mechanic, and you guys are hearing it first because I don't think anybody else has realized that yet. Even though we tell them, it starts as soon as you mint.
No, and it's also hard. It's like, I mean, I totally understand how people would be like, I think I get it, right? And one of the things that we're so excited about as a team is getting this into people's wallets, where you actually can look at it and go, oh my God, that's what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Because part of this is that, it's that oh my God thing of like, wow, this is something nobody else is doing in the whole space. We're launching we're launching technology with the NFT that is completely breakthrough, and it's going to be something that when you see it, you'll get it, and you'll be like, wow. And right, and we want that wow, and we want you guys. You guys have been whitelisted and have been with us for so many months in this project. We want you to be there in that moment before anybody else, because you've been here with us for so long, and you deserve that. Right? You deserve that experience before anybody else has that experience. And we're super excited to have people looking and seeing what this is all about. Where you can actually really study it, and that's part of what we're creating. Is that we actually have we also have technology of viewing, which allows you to zoom in up close and see what you're looking at in a way that nobody else can, because Flint has created a viewer that is that's special to our project.
For sure. So we've got let's see. Sunny Days says, so we will have seniors by the time public mints. We might be seniors by the time feel like seniors.
Yeah.
No, so the answer, if I understand the question correctly, so the aging mechanic is going to take an extended period of time. We will give you specifics on everything tomorrow, or later this evening, depending. But it's going to take years. Okay, so this is not something that's don't expect to get a mint and have it jump to 10 tomorrow, although it might, because it's an algorithm, right? What I would expect is that when everybody mints, the starting point is a 0.5. So everybody will start off with a 0.5. Now we have 2 decimal points on our card, so it's 0.51, 0.56, 0.54. But it'll be within the 0.5 range. So everybody starts at 0.5, and then there'll be some variation across that second decimal, right? As the days, the hours, the days, the weeks, the months go on, it goes up. So and where it stops, nobody knows, right? Every card is different. Every card has its own unique end grade as it tries to march towards a mint condition, towards 10.0. So what you get is a week jump on everybody else, right? So if you decided to mint tomorrow on Saturday, your card would have a full week of development and de-aging ahead of everybody else, right? Now, will that be will that mean that everyone's card everyone who mints a card on Saturday will be ahead of the pack? I don't know. Probably not, because some are going to mint faster, some are going to de-age faster, some are going to de-age slower. It's kind of impossible for us to know. But by going ahead and minting early and doing it first and foremost, you have the biggest chance of having that card be graded the highest, at least of the other public cards.
Sooner than other people.
Sooner,
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And we also, so you guys, we would love for anyone who has questions to post questions here as well. We're happy to tackle any questions you've got. And I know that we also have, Todd has some reveals today that I can't wait for you guys to see.
Oh yeah, we're gonna spoil all of the artwork.
Yeah.
So Wizard, hey everyone, hey Wizard, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Wizard's a big member of our community. Thank you for showing up. So Gift Goat guy says, brand new to your Discord and project, so I'm here to learn. Awesome. James, do you wanna what would you say to somebody who is just coming in who may not know what our project is about.
We are.
Here's
Thanks.
let me put you on the spot, brother.
Thanks for the pitch. Yeah.
Wait,
Okay,
wait.
here.
Let me. I will pause so that he can bring up the documentation.
Yeah, no, it's all set. Okay, so I'm actually gonna tell we've. Oh my God, we have tried to consolidate so many times, and it's like we have so many things going on, so many things that are building value and excitement into this project. But to really put it simply, I'll give you, this is the, adult fantasy is the world's premier crowdsourced, community-built superhero universe supported by a technological breakthrough NFT grading system. We're about to launch 10,000 one-of-a-kind NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain featuring 25 hand-drawn, non-generative characters housed in a protective digital case, a slab, containing first-of-its-kind grading attributes. We are creating a superhero universe, fully written, developed playground for the imagination, and we have a world in which these characters that we're creating exist. All of the characters have detailed backstories, relationships to each other. There are locations in this world. We want our community to be in this world, creating with us. We have plans for how to integrate people's creativity in future, which I'm not going to go into detail right now because that's a whole nother.
That's another hour.
That's another hour. But we, this for us is the initial launch, right? And this is the Genesis launch. And the key to that is that it's the Genesis launch. We have many future launches that we are working towards and planning. And I'll go so as far as to say that there are characters that backstories have been written that you won't see in this Genesis launch. Like there are characters who have already, like Todd has drawn, I've written about, but we had to start somewhere, right? So
right.
So that's a little bit of a welcome to who we are.
For sure. And what I could add to that for Gift Goat Guy is, and I don't know what they've read or seen of our project, but there's effectively two sides of it. One side is an actual intellectual property franchise. This is the side that James just talked about, which is imagine if Marvel was starting today. So super quick background. Like I worked at Marvel, I've worked at Cartoon Network, I worked at Adult Swim. I've helped build these brands. I've worked with these teams beyond just a freelancer. Actually, like working, like I had the opportunity to work alongside Stan Lee, and we developed merchandise, and I've developed toys and apparel and comics. Like these are right here. These are actually toys that I actually designed over here. This is like stock. Taking all of that knowledge, I said, well, why let Disney and all these other big companies, Warner Brothers, why let them have all the fun? Especially nowadays with the invention of NFTs and the technology we have now, we can do this. I helped all these companies do this in my past, but I understand how to do it. So why don't we just do it ourselves? And so that is where this kind of crowd-funded concept of how do we build Marvel, the Marvel of tomorrow, the next Marvel or the next DC or the next, Star Wars property? Well, you do it this way. It's going to be through crowdfunding. It's going to be through crowdsourcing. It's going to be through NFTs, and it's going to involve you. It's not, there's no separation anymore between creator and fan. The fan is the creator. Okay. That's a huge difference that these old legacy media companies cannot deal with, and they're not going to touch with a 10-foot pole, because these properties are already worth $100 billion, right? Like you're not going to just give that away. But when you're starting out and we're coming up, why not integrate it? It took Marvel like 80 years to do that, to make Spider-Man. We can do it in like 10 if we work together and decentralize this and actually build it up. So on the side of the intellectual property, the franchise side, our HQ, us, the team, effectively works as game masters, right? And you become the player, actually develops the story. So if you ever play a D&D or anything like that, Imagine using the mechanics of D&D or RPGs to build an actual universe like Marvel, where there's licensing and toys and comics and animation and all of that stuff, right? So the stories aren't going to be like James and I sitting and saying, let's make 12 issues and that's the comic. No, like we may set the stage, but we're actually going to be utilizing the crowd, you guys, to actually fuel this. It's your story and your art, and we'll be making NFTs and products and stuff off of what you bring to the table. So that is the intellectual property side. The tech side is the actual grading in the case. So we are very lucky in that we have a really strong technical team, and we wanted to utilize that, and we wanted to do something that could really kind of plant a flag in the NFT space. And so if you're familiar with grading from like CGC or PSA, like grading comics, grading cards, slabbed objects, they grade video games now and pretty much everything, records. We actually have the technology, we've invented a technology that allows us to do that with NFTs. And you're like, well, why the hell would you want that? Well, it gives us a completely new layer of collectability levers to play with. Again, without going too deep into it, traditional NFTs, the way that you determine rarity are through rarity traits, right? Like gold fur, rainbow fur, laser eyes, those really rare traits, or through token ID or serial number. Meaning, if you have 100 of the same thing, then the first mint, the second mint, the third mint, those are the ones that tend to be worth of value in those types of situations. So what we're doing is, by actually having a grading mechanism and an ability to add special things like chromium or autographs or anything else, we actually can create this new layer of collectability. So it's no longer certainly the one that has a super rare trait card is going to be worth something, right? But what if it's not as rare as something that might be common but has a really, really different grade, right? If there are two cards that have a 10.0 mint condition, perfect grade, but there's one card that stays at 0.5 and just never ages, well, then technically that 0.5 is more rare. It's the most rare. And then now you have these little cool dynamics that the market can play with. What happens? We don't know. I don't know. But that's part of the fun, right? It makes it interesting. It is not boring, which is I think is a huge point.
It's not boring. I want to just as a side reference here, and I know there are a lot of people comments. There are great comments coming in. We literally looked at thousands of cards in the real world, and we looked at the whole idea of grading cards and what they looked like, and played with that in our technology. And I think that the way in which that's going to show up, as Todd said, like, we don't know what you guys are going to do with that. Like, this is new technology, and it's like we're the holders of the Adult Fantasy NFT are going to be the first owners of this new technology. They'll have it in their hands. They'll be able to play with it and explore with it. But in addition to that, and this goes to some of the questions that are coming up, and Wizard said, will we be able to develop entire characters and lore within this?
100%.
So this is such a. Can you lift that up on the screen, Todd?
Yeah, for sure. And I yeah, go for it.
Right. Will we be able to develop entire characters and lore within this universe? The answer is yes. That is what we are building towards.
100%. And this includes the creation of products. This includes the creation of NFTs. Like Wizard, if we're doing a lore challenge and the group decides that your story or your comic or your thing is whatever the game is, right? If it's decided that yours is the best, I cannot wait to draw it for you, or to make it an NFT, or we have a guest artist do the NFT. The whole point is to tie up the creativity of the audience, right? Because you might be a great storyteller, you might be a great artist, or you might not be any of that, but you might just have a cool idea. And that's okay. The level of creativity is what matters, not the skill and craft. We can get the skill and craft. We have the skill and craft. We have the technical skill and craft, and we have the artistic skill and craft. And what we want to partner up with you, and why we are all doing this together, is to create these new characters, create this new lore within this universe, let the universe build on its own, and then we develop it together, and then we all share in the rewards of that together. If that makes sense.
And we have, I mean, we have plans to, I mean, we're literally. Can I mention Sandbox? so so
don't whatever you do.
I love the Sandbox. I think it's such a genius metaverse, and we are planning to begin building, community hub, places for people to talk and
we'll be
meet.
making a big announcement about exactly what this is a little
Yeah,
later. I don't want to. We don't want to spoil too much, but
but the the thing is that that we want to create multiple avenues for people to generate content, to be involved, to gamify. I mean, we are clearly building a comic universe, which means, like all the forms that a comic universe takes in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want all of those things to be activated, and this is, it's tough. Like, Kate Karras is on the call, and I totally want to give you guys more lore to write, and we're so busy right now with the initial launch that I'm like, I can't give you the prompts that I want to give you, but that's all coming.
For sure.
This is all coming. It's all in the works. We are building it out. This initial launch for us is really, putting everything together to make the launch safe and strong, and to build the community, and get everything in place for the Genesis launch. It takes an enormous amount of preparation and work to do that properly, and when that launch happens, we then move into the next phase of our planning, and we begin to build out the things that, there are lots of things in the works.
Yeah, for sure. Studio 7.62 says, Hail, what's up, Studio? Carrots has a good question about the Grail Quest. I will address that towards the end of the call. Let's see. Carrots also says, perhaps looking into creating something with Nifty Island. Yeah, we are actively talking to many different projects right now.
Yep.
Many different projects. And so we are marching forward. And like James said, this is the launch is not a conclusion. I think there's
it's the opposite of the conclusion.
Like
it's literally the beginning.
It really is. Like if there's one context, I mean, aside from, like, especially as we dive into all the things that the card has and all the things the NFT has, and all, I mean, I'm working on a diagram to pull out all the points of all the cool stuff that the card and the case and everything does, because it's everything. Like, all of the utility is so baked into everything that we did that it's super obvious, and also so deep that I think it needs it needs some explanation. But the big takeaway from this launch is to understand that this is a planting of the flag moment. It is like, boom, there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else. Nobody's doing what we're doing. They can't. It just, and I'm not saying that because to brag. I'm saying that because we didn't launch in a month. We didn't launch in a month and a half. It's taken us a year of working full time on this, and we decided to not just do random generated art images, and really focus on creating something that was really new and inventive. And so this is a plant the flag moment that starts a foundation of building something that's going to be around for decades. And I mentioned that, and I'm saying this for some of the new people. We can say that because we've been doing this for decades. So it's very easy for us to say, yeah, we're going to do this for decades because we've already been doing it for decades. So what's another couple decades? Because we've been doing it, like, this is what we do. GameStop metaverse for sure, absolutely.
There's so much exciting stuff happening in this.
It's space. Incredible. It's incredible, and we're at the forefront. All of us, everyone here on this call. right? It's incredible. So without further ado, I don't want to completely bury the lead too much more. Do you guys? Well, let me ask. Do you guys want to see some art? Hit up in chat. Let me see if you guys want some art.
Do you guys want to see some reveals? Do you guys want to see reveals of everything that you've been waiting to see?
I don't really know. I don't know if they want.
I don't know. Todd, they don't want to see that.
I don't know.
They don't want to see the sneak peeks that you've been preparing.
Oh, chat's kind of slow, bro. I don't know, man.
I don't know. You guys.
All right. Okay. There we go. Flash us. There we go.
Reveal. Yes.
Reveal.
Yes.
Art or we riot. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right. Great. All right. So I'm going to hit the share button and I'm going to hit my share screen and I'm just going to share. It always takes like 10 minutes to do this. All right. So I'm going to just share my second desktop. So hopefully this works. All right. So let's see the first character. All right. So we got 344. So I'll just say a couple words about each because if we actually went into like all of the detail, like we'd be here all day.
Yes.
So 344 is a parody / derivative of the ape that I own, the board ape that I own. He is lazy, but he also is the most powerful character probably in the whole universe. He has a gauntlet that is very similar, kind of a cross between Hellboy and Thanos. So love him. And James, if you want to, maybe I'll leave that to James to talk about his character as I do a lead in.
Yeah, no, I mean you pretty much covered him. He's ultra powerful but completely bored.
Right.
Right, and so you can think of all the things that would happen if a character is super powerful, but they don't really care.
Right.
They're not interested in.
He really doesn't care.
In the puny other creatures. Yeah.
All right. Let's see what else we got. Beelzebubby.
Beelzebubby.
Go for it, James.
She's the leader of the Elder Zombies. Beelzebubby is a follower of the Primordial, and probably you can find her at all you can eat buffets. So Carl, I don't know if you've done a reveal of Carl.
Carl's literally who I have here. You want to show next?
Yeah. So this is so Beelzebubby is Carl's mom. Carl. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see it on the stream, but in Carl's left hand, he has a gun with a silencer, and in his right hand, he has a bowling ball. Todd, talk about the inspiration for Carl, like for you, like what?
Oh yeah, so so there was a couple of things that inspired me. So one was I always loved the character. I always loved a scene with the character Walter from Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
One scene, like the character's pretty cool, but like I like that aura of the character, and he also reminded me of a friend I have who I'll keep.
You won't see how.
But just and I loved the idea of taking a character that who's a little crazy and a little kooky, but may just have some extreme insight into situations, right? So this is the guy that may or may not see aliens everywhere, and they may or may not really exist, and so he's either battling to save the world and his neighborhood, or he's just like in a deep psychosis,
Yeah, and so Carl has a scriptural passage for every occasion, but usually misquoted.
Right. Exactly, for sure. All right, so let's have another one here.
So Wizard said a great comment. I've seen Carl working security at a tattoo convention in New Orleans a few years ago.
100%.
That's really funny.
That's absolutely true.
That is funny.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
Oh yeah. This is Clairvoy is one of my favorite characters. Clairvoy's backstory is there's certain things that as a world builder writer, there's certain character stuff that I like. Oh, I'm so excited about creating. So Clairvoy is clairvoyant, and Clairvoy, because she's clairvoyant, she can do things like finish other people's sentences. But she can communicate with fourth dimensional beings because she's clairvoyant. So she can actually anticipate and bring in things that haven't come into being yet. So Todd, for you, Clairvoy goes way back. So can you talk about the origin of Clairvoy?
For sure, there are actually a couple of characters in this set that I've had since I was 15 years old, 14, 15 years old. Clairvoy, I made, I think, in my early 20s. So the thing that I like about Clairvoy is I love classic like Frank Miller Daredevil stories. And Klaus Janson, like as a team, Frank Miller and Klaus Janson created some of the best Daredevils. That is the Daredevil character, right? If you've seen the Daredevil Netflix show, it's all based on that stuff. And for me, if you know anything about the Daredevil lore, then you know who Elektra is, Elektra the Assassin. There were just some really cool like ninja type characters. It even translates over into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where Daredevil had the hand, which was the enemy ninja assassins, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had the foot, right? As a play on Daredevil. Like Daredevil really is a nexus point for a lot of different properties. And I love that, and I wanted to kind of play into that universe, not directly tie into another universe, but kind of do what Ninja Turtles did, right? Kind of tie into some things. And so Clairvoy is my nod to characters like Elektra the Assassin, and some of the other characters that have come out of that series, Typhoid Mary, like all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, she's short but absolutely deadly. I love my short chicks.
Yeah,
I'm married to one. That's okay.
Well.
That's all, folks. See you later.
And that's good night. Yeah, we won't tell them where you said that. So one of my favorite things. Kate Karras mentions the mask, mm-hmm. So when Todd showed me the early drafts of this character, I was like, ooh, I want to do something really special lore wise with the mask. And so I actually I came up with this idea that the mask was gifted by after spiritual training, it was gifted to her by celestial beings. It's called an Aeonian mask, and the metal of the mask actually has regenerative properties, like magical regenerative properties. So that she actually regenerates after a battle. She starts to regenerate.
So cool.
And yeah, it's really fun. So but they're also like there are a bunch of other. I mean, you guys, we totally love the comments you guys are giving. It really helps us to feed off that, and thank you for this exciting.
Yeah, Jay Silver. Oh, hell is it? I got That's right. She can't scream for sure. Jay Silver says yes. She cannot do a lot of things. That's what never mind that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Claire does give off. Absolutely. You nailed it, Casey, for sure. Yep. Casey Jones from TMNT. Absolutely. Studio says Melissa's a doll. Yep. 100%. Yeah, totally made of metal. Really, really cool. Yep. All right, you ready for the next one, James?
Yep.
As I accidentally select the select tool as opposed to the. Who's this guy?
Cobalt Fox.
So I'm going to zoom in a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see nice detail on that face.
Cobalt Fox is such a fascinating character. I mean, first of all, Todd, can you talk about the inspiration? Because you really did, like, you brought in lots of different elements in the creation.
Yeah. So Cobalt is a mixture of a few different things. So there's a couple of different elements. So I have this personal formula for creating characters, and it's not a magic trick. It's not a something that's a guide. It's just something that works for me personally, and it's a rule of three. If I can take 3 elements and slam them together and blend them up, you usually get a pretty interesting original character. And so I wanted the first part of it is I really always loved classic, like the classic Pink Panther movies, even movies like I think like Ocean's 11, especially like the second one. There's this classic trope of this really suave gentleman art thief, right? Where he's a gentleman and you never expect it, but then he's like the world's best, heist master, right? And so I really wanted to have a character that was like that. And so that's why you can see in his hand, you can see he's holding some jewels just to kind of give you a sign. And by the way, guys, you guys will also, total as an aside, we're also building in a way so that you'll have access to the high-res versions of all this. So you don't have to worry about, like, if you want to see more detail, you'll have access to like large prints of this, of all the characters. And so the first thing was that Pink Panther type of character. The second was, we wanted to do tribute nods to the NFT community, and there are other projects out there that kind of make that a priority, right? Where they're doing licensing or full partnerships or just using what they have. And while we didn't want to go 100% all in, we are about creating original characters for you guys, for us. We did want to give a nod to those that have come before us. So this is actually and this will tell you that this is the other two combinations. So what this is it's a blue CryptoPunk, right? So that it's one of the blue alien CryptoPunks combined with one of my favorite movies, which is They Live. I thought it was kind of funny to like take one of the blue aliens and say, well, what if Rowdy Roddy Piper was chasing him? So like it's They Live combined with the blue alien CryptoPunks. So combined with Pink Panther and classic movies like that. So and I think it works. He's this horrific, terrifying face, but then he's this gentleman, which creates all this weird tension and kind of the character's kind of baked into that at that point.
Totally. And I in terms of backstory, I sort of played off of things that Todd was describing. So he's the head of the Interdimensional Rescue Squad, which is a nod to the 1960s Thunderbirds show, because they had the so he's Interdimensional Rescue Squad, they had International, they were like they had the Rescue Squad. So but he's also a thief, so
for sure.
And he's on interdimensional police. He's on their most wanted list. So he's someone who is both respected and given positions of power, but he's also Machiavellian.
For sure.
So he's such like I love the I love the things that make him problematic.
For sure.
Right.
All right. I'm going to keep going. We only have 20 more to go. We're good. Okay, here we go.
I'm gonna put on Clairvoy's mask.
I know. No, it's good. No, we're good. It's both of us. We're just so excited about this stuff.
I know.
So this is Dead Step.
Dead Step.
Dead Step. What do you want to? How would you like to talk about Dead Step there for a minute, there, James?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, Dead Step is such a great mix of backstory images, like that look like his look is such a mix of the comic world and also James Bond, right? Because this kind of a character appears in the James Bond world. It also appears, yeah. So where did it come from in your imagination, Todd, when you were drawing?
Yeah. So there was a couple things I was looking at. I wanted an assassin. I like not an assassin like Clairvoy, kind of more of a brutish Punisher type. And so there's a piece of the Punisher. There's a piece of other characters, way more obscure, that also kind of have that same kind of trope of being that kind of bounty hunter assassin. And then I started looking at, there's actually, and I can't remember his name, but there's a character from one of the old James Bond films that's like a voodoo priest.
Exactly.
And I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it was these combinations. And I had this image of a comic panel, right? I had this image of a full page comic scene where this character could have his shirt off, right? And just stand in the shadows. And graphically, all you would see would be like the skeleton, because he has these tattoos or this war paint on his chest. So he has the skeletal, form, so that if he was like coming out of the shadows, to come get you, you would just see like the skeleton first, and then you would see him coming at you. And I just thought the image of that could be so terrifying, and yet graphically so cool, that it deserved to be its part of the character, right? So we kind of tied in Punisher meets like Voodoo Priest meets a couple of other different types of 90s characters. We've got some like almost like a Batman gauntlet on his legs. I always love these kind of like pouches and sharp things and shoulder pads, things that you could never ever do in real life, because you would just be cut to shreds.
So I have to say something really funny about so Todd, like here I am writing backstory for characters, and Todd will show me an initial drawing, right? And I begin to write the backstory and begin to write character, and then Todd will show another drawing, and I'm like, what happened to the blah 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 blah? Because I on my backstory I totally interwove things that he had drawn, and then he would like change the drawing, and I'd be like, okay,
yeah, for sure,
because there's so much fluidity in the creation.
Brother Voodoo, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and also and the character from Live and Let Die, James Bond, is Baron Samedi or Saint.
Yeah,
yeah. But it's so it's so great to see things coming into being, and yeah, Mr. T, exactly.
That's right. This guy only works out his top half. There's every day is our day.
Exactly. Yeah. That's really
all right. Let's go. We'll do another one here.
Yeah.
All right. Devoid. So Devoid. This is another character that I had from my high school days. So what's interesting is I had this character so it's really funny. Like, if you draw comics as a kid, and as an adult, you start thinking that those are your best creations. Then you go back and you're like, wow, that really sucked. Like, there were like all the things you thought were super innovative were like, no, that's just basically this character with long hair. So we had this character Void growing up, and Void is a mass murderer, just an absolute killer. And I looked at the original drawing, and it wasn't, but by today's standards, granted, this is like 30 plus years later, it wasn't where I wanted the character to be. So I started playing with the character, and I started tapping into the things that I liked that inspired me to draw the character in the first place. And Devoid got you laid in the water arm. That's right. So Devoid, I changed the name to Devoid, as in devoid. It's great. So we still kept with the killer bounty hunter, like mercenary, just doesn't give two craps. And it really is my nod to characters like Lobo and Tank Girl. So there's a lot of Lobo in there and a lot of Tank Girl. And one of my favorite all-time stories from Lobo was a story called Lobo's Back, which without going too deep into that, basically Lobo comes back female, but he still has the man arm. And I was like, and it was just used in that one story as far as I know. And I was like, this is this character. Like she's just like got this one arm. We have a story for like why that is, which will be divulged over time. Yeah. But she's just this like absolute monster of a killer.
and my the backstory nod to that is she's Heinus's goddaughter, and when she was a child, Heinus told her the ice cream truck only plays music when they've run out of ice cream. And it's like, who like, what kind of person would you become if that was the story you grew up with? that the ice cream truck only plays when it's empty.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see who's next. Who's on deck? Oh, this is James's favorite character. This is
Todd's favorite character.
This is Finger Blaster.
Finger Blaster. Oh my God, he's had a wild night.
Yeah. So my favorite thing about Finger Blaster is the necklace and then the suntan. Like he's got the sunburn. So Finger Blaster is I don't know how to describe Finger Blaster. Finger Blaster is basically
yeah, go for it, Todd.
So he's basically your redneck asshole who thinks he's a hero but is a complete. He might be a villain. You know, he's just cocky and full of himself, and like, you know, he gets the ladies, but they might not be the ladies you would want. You know, and he just he's a very special character. You know, you probably find him at like, you know, no matter how old he gets, he still visits like Daytona Beach or Panama City on spring break.
And he's also a cryptocurrency influencer.
Yeah, he's a cryptocurrency influencer. You know, may just hang out in front of 7-Elevens, and will totally get you. If you're underage, will totally buy you beer as long as he can get a cut. You know,
and he's dangerous.
That's right.
And he's dangerous.
Straight out of Alabama. That's right. For sure. Oh man. So anything you want to add to Finger Blaster?
No, let's go forward. Finger Blaster will tell his own stories.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Full Metal
Jackson. All right, so, Todd, you got to talk about the backstory, like what the inspiration of Full Metal Jackson.
Yeah. Oh man. So I'm a huge Carl Weathers fan. And Action Jackson is one of my, like, I don't know what it is. Like, it's one of those movies I haven't seen in a long time, but I actually have extremely fond memories of it. So I wanted to bring Action Jackson into the world of adult fantasy, and of course I wanted to combine him with the badass of Marvel, which is Nick Fury. So it's Action Jackson meets Nick Fury. Combined with there's a little bit of Cable in there as well, right? So Full Metal Jackson is what we came up with, and he has a lot to do with something called the Hellmouth, which the Hellmouth Commandos, which we'll talk about later.
And he carries a lot of explosives, and he's partially deaf, so he always speaks too loudly.
Awesome. Nick Fury, my boy. That's right.
Exactly.
Power Man. Yeah, totally. Looks like I could totally see Power Man. Badass Jackson. Punisher's partner in the arcade game. Oh, sure. Yeah. Let's see. Who else do we got? We have Golden Wing.
Okay, this is you guys. I don't think anyone has seen Golden Wing.
No one
this is a totally new reveal, you guys. There are a bunch of characters that have never been revealed before. So Todd, talk about who this is in the golden age of comics.
Yeah, so Golden Wing is he's actually an older superhero. So I really love my Dark Knight Returns, also another Frank Miller thing. And I wanted to create a character that had a little age on him, and has a little wear and tear, seen a little time. Watchmen would be another thing where the characters aren't so new and fresh. They've been around the block a while. And so I wanted to create a character that came out of the golden age, or has been around at least for a while, and maybe has seen a thing or two, but also maybe he's not as honest or has become less of a superhero than others, right? He's learned the ropes. He's learned that you got to pay the bills somehow, and you're going to have all this access to like counterfeit bills and drugs and all the kind of stuff that you might you might come across. So he may or may not do things with that. One of the and I don't want to. This isn't a spoiler because I think there's a lot of development room to grow. But I personally was always intrigued by the villain from now I'm gonna blank. Oh, dude, I'm totally blanking on the name. The really good Breaking Bad. The villain from Breaking Bad. I can't remember the guy's name. The guy that owned the fast food restaurant.
Right. The chicken.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that in him, right? Maybe not that dark, or maybe darker. I don't know. But there's a little bit of twinge of that. Like he's
Gustavo Fring.
Yeah. He maybe not be so hardcore, but he's at least in my mind he probably has a dark side.
That's interesting.
To be revealed later.
I know, really. Yes, exactly.
This is a spoiler thing. There's, we can always start him out as a good guy and make him dark.
And for those who care, he can fly.
He can, yes.
He can fly.
Yeah, and I'll also say that one of the inspirations for the character is like Dark Hawk and Blue Falcon and Harvey Birdman, for Christ's sakes, like people I actually worked on. So a lot of the classic Hanna-Barbera stuff, but then pushed through a little bit of Dark Knight Returns, I think is his future. We'll see. Time will tell. Maybe he's a super nice, happy guy.
Okay, Grumblebee. All right, so you have to tell the audience. so Grumblebee Inspiration, Todd.
So she's another one I don't think we've revealed before.
No, not at all. She is the smartest kid on the block. This is a youth Mensa, and also bad attitude kid.
Yeah, 100%. Jay Silver got the reference right off the bat. Yeah. She is a nod. Okay. So Jay Silver is going to have to, because my mind is like it's 5th hour, 10th hour, 24th hour. The band. Oh my god. The girl with the B. Yeah, the one that's all I can say is my life is pretty plain. Hit me up in chat with the name of the group because my mind is blanking right now. But yes. So I wanted to combine a character kind of like that with another character that I love, which is Blind Melon. Thank you, golly. Blind Melon, so a character kind of like from Blind Melon with also the girl character from The Professional, because I love that character. Natalie Portman's character, except in my mind the roles are reversed. Right, where if you took Leon and Natalie Portman's character and swap the roles, like that is a little bit of how I see her role, where she's incredibly tough, almost like Hit Girl from Kick-Ass. Right, she's incredibly tough, but then she also needs help once in a while. And you'll notice there's a design on her lunchbox that will be a reveal in just a minute. I'll show you the character that she's tied to, and we can talk about that.
Yeah, so I just want to point out, like when you zoom in like that, you guys can see that the work that Todd has done in creating the characters is incredibly detailed. And as Todd zooms in, you're getting a look at what that really means in terms of his craftsmanship.
Thank you.
It's fantastic.
There we go. That's why we're doing we'll have high-res versions.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. So nobody knows this character. So
The real heinous.
this is the heinous as he will be on the card.
Fully revealed.
His face actually reminds me of my stepdad. It's really funny.
Don't say that enough.
I've broken James.
It's like here we are in a public stream, and I see your stepdad being like, "What? Who said what? Where?
That's right.
About who? Yeah,
that's right. So heinous is heinous is awesome.
He's an upstanding guy.
Yeah, he's upstanding. Yes. So the reference, people are always, I think people, the reference is, believe it or not, this actually falls into my rule of threes, which is obviously there's a He-Man reference there.
Yeah.
But there's also Prince Valiant. And the third is another He-Man character called Mecha Neck, which had a long periscope neck.
Yeah.
And I just, once I started playing with these characters, it had to be made. Heinous called. Heinous called. That's right. So W. Rivera says, yes, the artwork's amazing. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I cannot unsee him. Heinous diehard fans. Commence.
Yes, exactly.
That's right. Gift Goat says He-Man. Absolutely. I would own this guy. Awesome. Yeah. And this is kind of what we mean, right? I think one of the things that we have that's really interesting and special about adult fantasy is that we are, even though we're making NFTs and we're doing things, we've had to invent new technology for this thing and all of this stuff. We're not throwing out the baby with the bathwater, right? Like there's a lot of stuff throughout the 20th century in terms of collectability and things we know that works that we can utilize. So it allows us as fans to say, I love Heinous, let's make a Heinous story, right? Or, I like Heinous okay, but Full Metal Jackson's badass. I would love to see a Full Metal Jackson toy or what have you. So these are, because it's character based, we actually can build worlds around each one of these characters. Like in my head, there's already like comic series around each character. Like they really do run around and have their own adventures in the back of my head as I work. And so I think that's something that we have, that I'm glad we have. I'm glad we chose to do it this way.
Yeah.
All right, let's see who's next. General Hurricane Steel.
General Hurricane Steel.
Look at that. What's up with his arms, James?
No one really knows. It was a mysterious incident, Todd.
Yeah. Something happened.
Something happened. And so Hurricane Steel was one of the first characters that we talked about because it's this question of like who brings this whole world together, who starts all this, and Hurricane Steel is one of the instigators of this universe.
Studio wants a Pain Rock card. we shall see. Believe it or not, there have been calls for it. He's right. There's the nemesis. That's right. The hidden arm from the army.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and so I really, for him, General Hurricane Steel. There's a little bit of Machine Man, and there's a lot of General Ross from Incredible Hulk and Akira, right? I was like, well, what if Tetsuo was actually a general from the army? Like what happens with that? Let's see what we got next. Oh yeah, so this was actually one of the last characters, and I drew. So I'll just pull him over. So we've got Magewolf.
Yeah.
So Magewolf is really an interesting story because I drew him on stream, and so you can actually see the process. I mean, he went through 800,000 revisions, and I just started throwing stuff. Originally, I was trying to create a character that, and this just shows you the creation process. Like I was actually trying to create a character that would be like the adult fantasy version of the Incredible Hulk, because I love the Incredible Hulk. He didn't come out in the series. He will come out. I have him in my head. He's just waiting to come out. But as I started developing the character and started drawing him live, he started changing and morphing, and these things just kind of take a life of their own. So do you want to talk a little bit about Magewolf?
Yeah. yeah, I mean, so he's, you know, early on we were talking about like, this. I mean, this character really did go through so many changes, and I think part of after going through so many changes, one of the things that happened was that when we were talking about backstory, he became someone who's actually a mixture of things. So he's a wolf, he's a shaman, um, and he is someone who has, um, you know, possibly he's a werewolf. Um, this is you know, there are some things that I really think the community has to decide,
Mhm.
you know, in storytelling. So we you know, we sort of have these little hints of who he is and how he came into being. Um, and he's someone who also has a lot of magical ability. So he's a shaman, a mage, possibly werewolf. Um,
And I also like the idea, like classically when you have these magical characters, and this also goes into like RPGs, like the magical characters tend to be weaker in strength, right? They tend to be so magical, so they're usually like your Doctor Stranges, right? Like Doctor Strange is incredibly magical, and mystical, but his build is very thin, and I wanted to see. I mean, just the way he kind of came out, he came out as like this big buff guy. So it's going to be really interesting to see like how that plays out, and how that affects him as a character and how it affects those around him, because it doesn't fall into the trope 100% of what a mage should be, right?
yeah, and I think exactly, totally. And the other thing is that like, the audience hasn't seen much of the back of the cards.
Right.
And on the back of the cards we have, I mean, we have
We
power.
we have to have reveals. We still
I
have
know,
reveals.
no, yeah. I mean, we have power stats.
By the way, they're backs of the cards, guys.
Oh, by the way, all these characters have backstory that is revealed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think he should just think he's a werewolf. That's very funny.
That's pretty good, actually. I
That's
like
good. That's
that.
good. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, that's
so the
pretty
other thing
good.
is like, I mean, one of he does kind of fall into that night wolf field though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea that writers can take it any which way, right? That you can play with it and explore these different qualities of him. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Next up, I know this is one of James' favorite.
It is
Yeah,
Pink Wasp.
Pink
This
Wasp.
this is absolutely one of my favorite characters. Um, yeah, you know, she's definitely a nod to the Fly. Um, you know, she wanted to experience fourth dimensional perception and got stuck in there with a wasp as she's experimenting. So she actually is like, this is not a costume, which I love. Right? This is not a costume. She is Wasp, and that's
Carrots is killing me. That's great.
it's my job.
That's great.
It's my
That's what
job.
it's about. That's what it's about. It's all love.
My job.
It's all love.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love. So yeah, this is a cross between the Fly and the Wasp and some other characters that that are in that vein. A little bit of Iron Man, because I wanted to have kind of like a little bit of metallic and metal, and supermodel Wasp. Yeah, exactly, for sure. Let's see who else we got here. Oh, this is a good one.
Yes. All right. Inspiration, Todd.
Oh God. So so Polar Star, it started off with the White Queen, and a little bit of Psylocke, and then moved into Dazzler and some other characters, and then moved full into fantasy. You know, I was really thinking a little bit about Battle Chasers and some of those characters that I really loved back in the day, and I wanted one character that was um, um, kind of your traditional super heroine who was hot but also was incredibly powerful, right? Like, you know, we try to, if you've noticed in the series, that we've really tried to be very diverse with the cast, and represent like all body shapes and sizes, and And that's important. One, because it's creativity, and if I'm drawing just one superhero, that's like, if you're a superhero artist or a comic artist, and you have one style for men and one body shape, one body shape for men and one body shape for women, it gets kind of boring, at least to me. So I wanted someone who kind of had that white queen or power girl kind of hotness, but also had a little bit of that Mr. Freeze or Rogue, where you couldn't touch. Right, it was too dangerous to kind of touch because of their power. So that is where Polar Star kind of came out. Yeah, and she came. I'm really happy with. I love that the polar bear hat.
I love the bear. I love the polar bear. It's so brilliant.
You can kind of see like some of the just like shadows and kind of the colors. Everything exactly how it would be animated, really. So I'm going to skip, James, the other character that starts with a P that I showed you this morning. I'm going to show that last.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So that'll be the final reveal, because he's our big character.
Yeah.
So here is
Sim. So you got to show the face now, because you talked about the lunchbox.
Yes. So if you notice, Sim's face looks like where is it? Grumblebee's lunchbox.
And in the storytelling, Sim is a simulation, like a battle simulation bot, but will protect children. And so Sim is basically adopted Grumblebee as her, like Sim is the guardian of Grumblebee. Of course, Grumblebee needs no guarding, but Sim doesn't know that.
Yeah, and Grumblebee probably rescues Sim a couple times too.
That's right.
He's a little more simple. So Sim, I was from the inspiration side. He's a little bit of like what I used to wish a GoBot would be. Like I was always a Transformers kid, right? Transformers is the bomb for me. But when I saw GoBots, I was like, man, I wish GoBots looked better. And in my head, they would kind of look like this. So my childhood vision of what a GoBot could have been, combined with a character like Rom, and then pushed, and then I was doing my rule of threes, and oops, I'm enlarging the wrong screen. So I was like, I don't know, a Mac, like an old school swivel neck Mac, and that just did it for me. Like I drew that, and I just started laughing. I showed it to the team, and everyone started laughing, and I was like, okay, it's in. Like that's the other rule. It's like if I show it to the team, and if there has to be at least somebody who's completely embarrassed,
who falls out of their chair.
If somebody's completely embarrassed to be associated with a team based on a drawing that I've done, then I know I've like got a winner. So right. So Sim is my nod to those types of characters. All right, let's see. Mac Chime.
Exactly.
Harvey. Awesome. I like this a lot. Yeah. And the Wizard, Cold never bothers her anyway. Yeah, that's for Polar Star.
Polar Star,
All right, let's see who else we have. Okay. This character I really dig. This is another new reveal. I think we haven't showed him to anyone.
Oh yeah, Solar Mannequin.
So this is Solar Mannequin. Oh, thank you guys for allowing me to do this. So Solar Mannequin. I love the classic Kirby and Lee stories of the Silver Surfer and Herald of Galactus. But I wanted to kind of bring that same type of character into our universe. He's on a Segway, by the way, a space Segway. It's got the wheels, but he still flies around. And so I was like, well, what would our type of Herald be? And really the truth is that our Herald would be someone like, he's clearly like seen too much. right? His face is all sunken in, and his eyes is like like looking into a deep universe or something. Like he's just seen way too much. But he's basically a delivery guy. He's the FedEx. He's like the doomsday FedEx postal delivery guy, right?
Yes.
So he flies through space, and his job is to deliver the bad news. And it might be in the form of something that's in that box. And so that's his job. Now, on the flip side, though, he's also a collector, and I really like the idea that he's this creature comes to say Earth, and he's the herald, right? So he's here to bring the bad news. Like your planet's gone, like it's going to be completely wiped out, it's going to be destroyed. Well, from his perspective as a collector, that means everything on this planet is extremely rare and incredibly valuable. So anything that he picks up, like, is just it's like finding the Rosetta Stone, right? Like so he picks up random Planacana, not Americana. Planacana might be a pen. It might be a chair. It might be a cup, or it might be a painting. Who knows? Anything that finds his fancy, he purchase or acquire, and he knows that it's going to be worth a fortune one day. So I kind of envision him as having like the space equivalent of his own private island somewhere.
That sounds a little bit like NFTs.
No, it does not. It does no. David asks how many in total. There's 25. 25 total. So we're almost done. 25. Delivery surfer. Exactly.
Yep.
The delivery feels, man. Solar mannequin always delivers. That's right. Shows up late to deliver the message as the planet has already been destroyed. Who's going to sign for this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, just a few more. This is one of my favorites, Stanwell Perpetual. So Stanwell Perpetual is a nod to. There's actually a lot of different characters that kind of have this kind of motif going on. One that gets brought up a lot is Kang from TMNT. There's also some Marvel characters that do this as well, and DC. It's a motif. And for him, I really liked the idea. I also within the last several years have really gotten into the classic Fantastic Four. John Buscema's run, Kirby's run, you name it. Like Fantastic Four had like a couple hundred issues of just incredible storytelling. It's really phenomenal. And I like the idea of creating our own version of that, like, the family that kind of does, goes into space and saves the world and all this kind of stuff. And so in my mind, this is our version of a Mr. Fantastic type of character, where he's a genius, something goes horribly wrong. And he doesn't tell his wife, his kids, or his family, but he goes ahead and saves his life by injecting it into this giant body. Right. And so he has to deal with the consequences now, and his family has to deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one more. And Wizard is about to go. He has to head out, so I'm going to do this. See if I catch him.
Subdued. Okay, finally, Subdued is out in the public eye.
Don't judge me, man.
No, don't judge me. His motto is no pain, no gain.
So Subdued is across, believe it or not. So two of the things that he's across of, obviously the Gimp from Pulp Fiction, and Turbo Teen. Turbo Teen is a show from the 80s where there's a guy turned into a car, and I was like, well, what if a guy turned into a submarine? And then I was like, well, if he turned into a submarine, I said, so the funny thing is if you turn into a submarine and you look like this, you have to swim face down. So you kind of have to be a sadist, or to do this. So I thought that he would be the kind of person that might enjoy it, or it would fit his personality, right?
What's you mean? So that S is not super?
Yeah.
That S?
Yeah. So Subdued makes his debut today.
Oh, Charlene Bruder said as a huge pulper. That's my favorite.
Awesome.
Yay.
Yeah, and if you have not seen, if you don't know Teen Turbo, and you've never seen, you don't know what that is, you've never seen the opening, I highly recommend just going to YouTube and looking at the Teen Turbo intro. You'll totally understand the sense of humor. You'll be like, oh yeah, no, I totally get it. Because there's nothing funnier than like a cartoon kid turning into morphing into like a Knight Rider style kit car. It's pretty funny. Yeah. So we have our own now with Subdued. Okay,
yeah, you know what? There's one for everybody, and then there's some that are not your thing, and this is right.
All
and
love.
This is exactly. This is called courageous drawing.
That's right. You know, it really is. It really is.
It's really putting yourself out there.
I'll tell you, creatively,
courageously.
It's been a challenge because you're always afraid that you're going to offend somebody, and then you just realize that someone's going to be offended by anything you draw. So, I mean, there's not a drawing on earth that someone isn't completely offended by.
No, look at Heinous, right? I mean,
I don't know. What do you mean? I don't understand.
Heinous was one of those characters that we all went, oh my God, right? and it's like super, because it's really out there, and it's it's in your face, right?
Yeah, people. I mean, and look, so far, I'm sure there are people that don't like him, but there are people that really dig the character. So,
exactly.
You just gotta put it out there. Don't ever be afraid to push your creativity out there. So this is the Rays. So the Rays is my version of the Crimson Guard. These are kind of like the Emperor's Stormtrooper Guard, battalion. Without going too, we've talked about the Rays before. We have his backstory out there. But the big takeaway is that it's just like the Ronald McDonald cops. I love it. Evil Knievel meets Ronald McDonald meets some of the bad guys from like the old classic Flash Gordon movie from the 1960s. Was it 60s, 70s? 70s.
And Brazil.
And Brazil. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, this is another one that came out good. Trash Panda. So Trash Panda took a while to get out of my head. Trash Panda Opportunist says you convinced me to like.
That's
good. So Trash Panda took a while to get out of my head. I wanted a character. So I love the Morlocks from Marvel. These creatures that live under in the sewers and can't, don't really come to the surface that often. They're kind of like the outsiders of the outsiders. And so Callisto is kind of the ruler, or the queen of the leader of the Morlocks. So I wanted kind of a leader of that light. And then I thought about, well, what if that leader was a rock star, or thought they were like they were incredibly popular because they would be the leader of these groups, but they're like in the sewer. So it's like this rock star or this creative that could not, that just had like just a really strange backstory. And so what ended up happening was a combination of Napoleon and Liberace and Adamant from the 80s, right? And I was like, you combine Adamant with Liberace and Napoleon, and you get something that looks like this. And so when I got this done, I was like, yeah, this is just I'm really digging. I really dig it. It's very, very. I'm interested to see the adventures that happen with
yes,
him.
Exactly.
I love this character. Okay.
Evolved Rocket Raccoon is
Evolved Rocket Raccoon. Yeah,
exactly.
I can totally see that.
Exactly.
Right, let's see who else we got. Triceratop. So we got 3 more. Triceratop is one of the final 3.
And people on this thread have already written about Triceratop, which is awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So this is Triceratop. So Triceratop, my combinations for him, I love the character of the Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man. Don't know why, always have. I just think he's awesome. Does not get the credit that he deserves for being a dope character. So we decided to kind of port that in and kind of filter it through and create our own version of that type of a character. So we made him a Triceratop. And if you're going to make him a Triceratop, you might as well make him a cop as well. So you have Triceratop. And he's actually, think of the Rhino combined with the Big Boss Man from WW, well, back in the day, WWF, now WWE. So Big Boss Man as a Triceratop. And then there's some other characters from like, Blart Mall Cop and some other stuff that goes in there. It's just like, the fact that he has like his ankle showing is pretty funny, and like the shoes that are like Triceratop shoes. Like you don't know if it's like actually part of him or if it's just a costume.
That's right.
You just don't know.
Which works for a lot of our characters.
That's right. All right, so we got this is Vorpal Trickster. What do you want to say about Vorpal?
She's the sharpest. She's the sharpest blade of the bunch.
Oh my god, dude. Nope. That's really funny.
No, she doesn't suffer fools gladly. I love Vorpal Trickster. She's one of the things that we played with is that that some of the characters you wouldn't expect are super smart, and some of them are not. Vorpal Trickster is really smart and uses language as well as her swords, which I think is really fun. Like the idea that she's witty, she's a witty weapon wielder, right?
Right, sharp sword, sharp tongue.
Exactly, I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go. We got one more for you guys. So this, and I'm saving this for last. And the reason I saved this guy for last is because this character is actually our most rare character. So if you guys may or may not know or understand yet, we have a lot of these characters. The background colors represent tiers, right? So the background colors actually represent rarity tiers in the set. Okay, so these are all different. These different color backgrounds represent the number in the set. So some are more common than others, but of course we have the case that we would talk about, the case layer, the collectability layer on top of it, that makes everything unique. So 10,000 unique characters, 25 non-generative characters across multiple tiers with a variety of rarity types.
Yeah.
So this is the reveal of the most rare character. This is our mythic character, and I'm so stoked about this. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna pull him over. There we go. So this is the Primordial.
Yeah.
And the Primordial, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can kind of scroll down. So the Primordial is, well, he's a Primordial. And here's what I'll tell you about the Primordial as a character and as a thing. So there's a couple funny things. So first, take note that his crown is actually made up of destroyed skyscrapers. So it should tell you how large he is. He is massive. That is a city block or two on his brow. And one of the things that made Melissa, aka Shiraboom, crack up as I showed this to her, and she was like, "Wait, is he wearing underwear?" And I was like, "Well, of course he is. What else am I going to put there?" And she started dying laughing at the thought of this giant character that basically his underwear is the size of a city block, and he even would have underwear like tidy whitey superhero pants. She thought that was hilarious, as do I. So he's a nod to the classic Kirby characters. He is also he's one of our he's just mythic. Do you want to talk a little bit about the dark one from the deep there?
Yeah, I mean, I had fun creating all kinds of names for him, because it's like when you have a mythic character, they have multiple names. There's like Gandalf, right? Is Miranda, is right? And so this is the creature of 1,000 names, the Great Destroyer, the Sleeper in the Deep, Demon of the Dark. This is the World Devourer. This is the creature that started the Gloam Dome, right? The Brooklyn Hyperdome launched to stop this creature from devouring planets. So this is it's a key character in our world, because he's the He is the first mythic evil force that we
That's
have.
right. That's right. And Jay Silver says, not as cool as Swarm, but still cool. LMAO. Don't worry. You have your own gods to worry about. You'll see. You'll see.
Yeah.
And he said to Riviere says, imagine he didn't wear them.
Well, yes, exactly.
Exactly. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, yeah, he wears skyscrapers on his
I'm just
head.
saying heinous competition.
Touche, James. Touche. So this is the big reveal, guys, and I hope it's you guys enjoy it. We are so excited to share this stuff with you guys. A couple things that I will add and that I will mention. First is Carrots asked earlier about the Grail Quest.
Yeah.
Charlene caught that. The Grail Quest, yeah. So the Grail Quest is going strong. We have not made the announcement yet, but we will today. We are going to extend the Grail Quest, and our reason for that is we want to give people more time, and we want to give it the attention that it deserves. I want to share with you guys what the Grail looks like. And we haven't had a chance to do that because, as you just saw, we literally just revealed all the characters today. Yeah. So that plus the launch, we were like, you know what? The Grail is so awesome and it's so cool, and we just want to give it the attention that it deserves and give people enough of a chance to go after it. And I think once we get through the launch period, we'll be able to focus all of our attention to promote it and really push it. So we're going to extend it just by a few weeks. So it's not like, you know, it's not going to be like months or anything. Just by a couple weeks, just through launch, and then maybe a week or so after, so that we can like really put some attention on it. So you have time. Make sure your factions go after it. If you see this, if you guys see the art, you guys are going to want that Grail. You're going to want the Grail. Should I tell them what the Grail is? I should go ahead and tell them what the hell, right?
Go for it.
Yeah. So the Grail is a signed card. It is a signed, team signed NFT. And the interesting thing about it is that one, it's signed by all of us, and two, it's a Gem Mint 10. So you do not have to wait X amount of time for your card to grade, to go up or down. It is a Gem Mint 10 from Jump Street. So if you would like to have probably one of the most rarest cards you could possibly get, right, which is a Gem Mint 10 card that is signed by the group, I highly recommend you go after the Grail Quest. It is fairly simple to go after. There's no reason not to do it. And so we highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And yeah. What else do we have? What else do we have on the dock? I think that's the covers for the day.
I think that's where we are today. This is you know, we're gonna have more coming every day. You know, more information and news and reveals and
thank you to Revere. I appreciate it.
You.
Thanks, Elaine. I appreciate it. And yeah, so as we said at the beginning, launch is coming. Whitelist is coming tomorrow, guys. It opens. So I cannot believe that. I can't believe the day is here. Actually.
I know.
A little real, to be honest with you.
a year of work.
Yeah, it's bananas. It's bananas, and we are so excited. We are so excited to get busy for you guys and to show you what we have. Like, you know, wait till you see what we have coming. Oh my god.
And you guys are everything. You are everything. The community is everything, and we want this community to be involved in creation. And that is, you know, we're going to engage all of your skills and talents and imagination, and like that's what this is all about. This is not a universe created by a small group of people. It's a universe imagined and started by a small group, welcoming in the throngs.
100%. Yeah, and Charlene has a great question. She wants to know if we're nervous or excited. It's a mixture of both. I'll be honest. Like, yeah. I am. This has been, you know, honestly, if I'm really thinking, I got to say, like, it's probably been the hardest, like, hardest working project I've done in a long, I mean, maybe ever. The most work, the most dedication, the most, I mean, even projects where you're creating a lot of work, you don't have to necessarily invent the wheel. You know what I mean? So it's been intense. With that said, our passion for it and the fact that we know how good this is, and we want other people to naturally see that as well.
Yeah.
As someone who like kind of helped start this thing, makes me exceptionally nervous. Right? Just being real. Like anyone that says they're not nervous is crazy. At any launch, after a year of work, where this has been especially James and I, this has been our full-time job. Like this is all we're not funded by large corporations. There's no investors. No. This is our personal savings.
Yeah.
This is 100% personal savings, and like I have not taken a paycheck this year, and neither has James. Sorry, James.
No, it's true. No, you're outing me, but in a good way, right? Yeah. I mean, this is it's real sweat equity, right? Like it's like really putting in the hours, and hoping that people love it, right? And that the community loves it, and that it generates excitement that then moves forward into the future in the way that we imagine. And so the answer that I would give to your question, Charlene, is I'm a professional actor. I'm also an acting coach. But as an actor, I've been on in films, TV, and stage, and it feels the way that I feel after you've spent months and months working on a project as an actor, and you're standing backstage before the curtain opens on opening night, and you want your audience to be there with you and to love it and to feel excitement. But so you're both excited and scared, and it's all inside. You feel that incredible passion. It's all there at the same moment. So it's everything all at once.
I will say, I will also say, like, because on the question of like, are we nervous or excited, and being both, I will say that I'm nervous because you want this to be the best it can be, and you want the recognition, right? You want the recognition for the group, you want the recognition for the art, you want the recognition for the team, you want the world to know about this, and so there's a natural nervousness there, but there's also an extreme confidence that we have, because at the end of the day, we are continuing to do what we've always done, right? We've had things sell out in fantastic fashion before, and we've had things that took a long time to sell, and we've had things that didn't work, and that's okay. But you don't stop. You don't stop. So we are nervous about the project, of course, because you don't know what's going to happen. But we're confident because we know what's coming, and we're not going to stop on the project, right? Like we have our roadmap. When we say we're going to be here for years, this is why. It is the reason why we didn't do a roadmap that said at 10% funded we have this, and at 20% funded you'll get that, and at 50% funded we'll get, like, there is none of that on a roadmap. What is on a roadmap are things we are going to do. It's not based on sales. And so there's a nervousness, because there's always nervousness at a launch, but there's a confidence because we're going to do what we said we're going to do, and we're going to keep working on it.
Yeah.
Right. So does that kind of make sense? Does that kind of answer the question? I hope it does. We're super excited and incredibly nervous.
And we're thrilled.
And thrilled.
You know what, guys? The other thing, not just nervous and excited, but also like wow, it's taken so much work to create something, but we're so excited about it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's also proud. Because I mean, we've gone through 25 characters. Todd's shown, like, I mean, this is the it's that moment of reveal, right? And it's like, oh my God, just to see them, it feels so exciting and good, like a good meal, Yeah. Like the primordial, to see the primordial after having talked about it and imagined it and had it be such a key thing in the world, then see what came out of Todd's imagination. I'm just like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's been an exciting ride, and like I said, I mean, we're just getting ready to get started. You know what I mean? Like that's what's so crazy is like NFT space is and NFT time is so nuts that it's easy to think that the launch is like the end of it, and like, oh well, all this buzz and you launch and then you got the thing and then it's over and it's like not here, not here. Like this, I mean, we're almost at day one.
Yeah,
we're almost at day one, and that is extremely exciting. Charlene says, "You guys rock. Let's do this thing." Absolutely, and yeah, we're going to be posting a bunch between now and public mint next week. Hopefully, I don't bug you guys too much. I try to be, cognizant of hitting everyone all the time. But yeah, we're going to be doing a lot more spoilers, lots of information coming your way. We're going to be reminding you guys, especially to make sure you whitelist to verify it, because we want you guys to have this first. I would have no problem with this not going to public mint. It's going to public. We made that decision a long time ago, but you guys who supported this from the get-go, who are in the Discord, who actually are here on stream, who are helping us make this thing, I want nothing more than to have you guys get this in your hands first. So anything that I can do to help make that happen, we will try to do for you.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, with that, thank you guys for this stream. It's been awesome. It's so funny. It's just like, oh, we'll just reveal the artwork, but it's like like I said, a year of work to do this one stream.
I know. Well, it's kind of it's like if you're going through any of the like you're going through a comic book showing all the characters, right?
Yeah, right. It's the model sheets. Riviera says, "You'll give us beginners the excitement to continue creating." I love that, and I'm absolutely going to be. We're going to be doing some creation stuff as well. So if you're a holder, I think, was it Dusty? I got to give Dusty credit. He's in chat. I think Dusty had the idea of like, hey, for holders, you might want to do like a like art classes or like a full on like a tutorial or like a like let's actually animate something together or draw together and actually show how it's done, like behind the scenes. And I'm 100% for that.
Yep.
So that'll probably, can't announce anything yet, but yeah, there's going to be bonuses for holders, like for sure. Like I do that anyway, so it makes total sense. Yep. So props to Dusty for coming up to that idea. That was great.
Totally.
And the studio says, rock out with your heinous out. Del Riviera gives a heart. Thank you. Opportunist is sweet. Awesome, guys. James, anything else before we bounce?
No, just super excited and nervous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nervous and excited. Exactly.
Absolutely. And we're gonna be in Discord. If you don't hear from us for a minute, that's only because we're working behind the scenes. But we're in Discord all day. We're doing stuff. And check back for a bunch of announcements, because over the next today, tomorrow, and then pretty much all next week, there's gonna be a lot of crazy stuff coming out. We may have some partnership announcements. You think there may be some things we haven't revealed yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. Love you all, and we will talk to you back in general. All right.
Thanks for joining us, you guys.
Bye, guys.